Good morning, welcome back to a brand new video. If you're new here, then welcome. My name's Alex, I'm a cameraman. I take you behind the scenes of the jobs you get to do, whether that's in the UK or abroad, video, photo or drone, and I post 2 videos a week for you every Thursday and every Sunday to show you what I've been up to. With that out of the way, we're in a bit of a rush today because I want to get up to Grange over Sands. I've got some materials to get through here to take back with us, and also it takes me 2.5–3 hours to get there, and I want to beat rush hour. So 2:30, we need to really get a wriggle on. I'm going to have a bit of a rummage through these materials over here. I have my little GoPro to take you through them all, and yeah, we're going to be heading back up there to do some more work on the van, which, fingers crossed, should be quite easy. So one of the first things that I need to move out of the way is this massive work table, what do you call it, worktop. So yeah, we're definitely not going to be needing that. What would be useful are things like this. I reckon my shelf front might be able to be made out of this piece here. My problem might be whether I'm going to get that in the car or not, because if I show you from top to bottom, that's a pretty big piece. Let's put this on the floor. Cool. Insulation, I don't really need, I'm not bothered about at the minute. We've insulated what we want to insulate, but this ply is kind of exactly what I need. So Georgie has done some measuring for me, very kind of her, and thank you very much. And she's told me how long of a piece I need for the shelf, and also there's a gap in between my 2 cupboards, and I want to put a shelf there as well. So she's told me the inches, which is strange. I would use centimetres, so Georgie, centimetres next time, please. But anyway, we've got inches, so the big unit is 62 inches by 16. So first of all, do we have 16 here? Oh my days, only just about. And do we have 62 inches? Oh, come on. Yes, we do. So this piece is actually going to be perfect for our, is it going to be? Yeah, should be nearly perfect for the top cupboard, which needs replacing, which I showed you the other day. So I'll take this, I'm going to try to take this somehow. I'm going to cut this off here and cut this off here, if there is a saw available, because I took all my tools back up north, but let's have a look. Slightly unfortunately, I can't see a saw anywhere, so am I going to snap it and snap it across there? You're damn right I am. I'm going to try anyway. Hopefully I don't ruin this piece of wood, because as I said, it is perfect, but look at that. There we go. That's that bit. And now I just need to make sure I don't snap it anywhere like here. It has to be across here. So let's put it on the floor. I'll put the edge over the edge of my work table and then try and snap it like so. Well, it's snapped. It's definitely not the prettiest job in the world, but I think I'm quite lucky that this is the line we wanted to preserve, and it has snapped. If I can hold it with my foot, it has snapped, whoa, almost perfectly across that line. So, winner, winner. So I'll take that back with me. And the next thing I need to do is see if we've got a couple of offcuts the right size for the shelf, the gap in between my 2 shelves. Hopefully we've got something that we can use for that. This stuff's a little bit thicker, which should be ideal. Thanks to Cousin Tom once again for getting me all these materials all of those months ago. We're going to do the same thing with this one that I did with the other one. These 2 bits here, this big L shape, looks like I could harvest for the shelf that I need. So there we go. That is now transportable, which is great news. And with that bit and that bit, that should be enough to get me some jobs done in the interim before I come back here to get more materials. I actually have got loads more flooring, loads more carpet over here, big offcuts of it, and I said loads more insulation and another countertop here. So yeah, if we wanted to change anything in the van, we do have plenty of materials here to do so. I've got like 5mm ply, I think. This is like maybe 10mm, and this is like 12mm. So actually I've got quite a good store of materials for now. So let's get this put away. I've got to hit the road, get back up to Grange, and I'll catch up with you guys when I get there. We've got such a full week of work on, and we're also filming the garden tour this Sunday. So yeah, we're on Wednesday now, so we're going to be preparing for that. So anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. Let's get back to Grange. I'll see you there. Welcome back. As you can see, we are back in Grange over Sands. I have the van, I have the car, I have some materials and tools, which I might have pilfered one or two. And yeah, we've got a few jobs to do inside the van. So what I'm going to do is quickly show you inside. I wanted to do something which I can't do today, unfortunately, bit of a shame, but I'm going to do something else instead and potentially test a third job as well. So we're going to quickly nip inside. I'll show you that and then I'll show you all of this stuff that I've bought and what I'm going to do with it. Let's go. So you join me inside Turtle, which is not a sentence that many people get to say. Obviously we have little Layla with us, who unfortunately has been through the wars a little bit lately. She had a bit of pain maybe 6 weeks ago, just before she came into season, so we took her to the vet and they gave her some painkillers. Then she was fine, came into season, no problem at all. Then when she came out of season again, we had a little bit of pain in one of her back legs, and unfortunately we think she's damaged one of the ligaments. So again, she's been on bed rest, so she's not really had much exercise in the past almost 2 months. So she's feeling a little bit sorry for herself, but she's definitely on the mend. And if you've not seen her in the videos, that'll be why. She's just been staying out the way and trying to keep nice and calm. But she is happy as Larry. Anyway, what I was going to say was we were going to do this job. I think I showed you 2 videos ago. This cupboard is not in a good way. It is, I think, 10 mil or, yeah, I think it's about 10 mil ply. So it is fairly substantial, but unfortunately, I've only got 5 mil ply in a stretch that big, and it's just not going to cut it. Even having these hinge attachments on aren't going to be able to be secured into the 5 mil ply. So when I next go home, I'm going to go get a big sheet of it off Cousin Tom and potentially redo both of these cupboards so they match. Also, my problem was going to be, I was going to have a sort of washed out white looking cupboard here, and then there was going to be a brown one here. So yeah, bit of a bummer that I'm not able to sort that out. I was really hoping that the ply that I'd brought with me was going to be thick enough, but when you're in a rush, back at home, away from the van, trying to get stuff together, you think something might work, but then in reality, it doesn't. But anyway, that's not a problem. All it means is we're going to save that job for another day, and we're actually going to be putting a shelf in here today. I have this little bag just hanging off of a screw, and we're either going to put one shelf in here because there's a beam that runs across here, and then maybe one halfway up supported by that bottom shelf. I'm not too sure yet, but yeah, we're definitely going to have one shelf in here with a bit of a lip on it, and then potentially a second shelf above it with a little bit of a lip on it as well. Let's head back outside. I'll show you what materials I've got, what I'm going to do with them, how the shelf is going to work, hopefully. Then we'll get cutting and making. Let's go. Back outside, back with the materials, and we've actually got a few options in terms of, I'm going to call them brackets because I can't remember what, for the life of me, what these are called. The things that you put in the corner of a shelf to help it stay up, or underneath a shelf to help it stay up. God, can't remember what they're called. We've got 2 options anyway. We've got a square one here and we've got a triangle one. I believe these ones are a little bit stronger, so I think I'm going to be using them. I've got about 8 of them. I should only need 4. So yeah, we've got those. We've also got what I believe is, I think, 1 mil ply here, which is what I'll be using to make the shelf out of because it's not too bendy. And then we've also got this stuff, which is what I'm not going to make the other shelf out of, which is the 5 mil ply. Really good for the ceilings and stuff like that because it's got a bit of a flex, or the walls if it were a bit uneven. But for something that's going to have doors slamming and shutting into it all the time, yeah, that's just a little bit too flimsy and thin, unfortunately. All of this stuff is all actually offcuts from when I did the inside of the van, so it's not costing me any money, and we're also saving the planet. On the edge of the shelf, I'm going to be using bits like this, so perfectly straight bits that I've cut off of thicker ones. This is 12 mil ply, which means I'll be able to make quite a nice lip on the edge of the shelf, so when we put things on there, they're not going to fly off. Equally, if I wanted to put even more of a lip on the shelf, you can see we've got bit wider bits as well. That's only 1 mil. And other bits and bobs such as little bits of batten, bits of insulation, other bits of batten, and so on and so forth. So we should have more than enough to make this little shelf. I'm going to do some measuring now, stick the GoPro on my head, get a few bits and bobs cut out and get it sort of ready to be screwed on. Let's go. So the piece that we need, Georgie did measure for us the other day in inches, but we're going to do it in centimetres just because they're slightly more accurate. So that looks like 23.5, 24, 23.5, and on this side, so that's actually quite a big span. So I don't know if we're going to get more than one shelf out of this, but let's go outside, mark it up, and get it jigsawed out. Give it a little test fit, and then work around these bits here, because obviously this is the strong beam that goes through the wall there. If you remember when I put the van together, yeah, there's a wooden beam going through there. So yeah, we'll get it measured up, fitted, dry fitted in here, and then figure out where to screw things. Hopefully you're still recording. Yes, you are. Is my microphone recording? Yes, it is. Winner, winner. Right. 24, which I believe this is, look, 23.5, pretty much perfect. And 23.5 there. And there's a little notch here, so we don't want that bit, which means we need 39.5 from here. Okie dokie. So that's the line we need to follow. Ideally, I'd have a skill saw, the little circular one that you've seen me using before, that you run across like that. Gives you a bit of a straighter, nicer line. This definitely will have been cut with one of those. Unfortunately, slash fortunately, because I do have a power tool, I do have a jigsaw down there, which I've borrowed. So let's whip that out. And I'm actually going to use this big old battery here that got sponsored me a few videos ago, because it is a corded jigsaw. And fingers crossed, should work perfectly. We've even got a spare blade in case we need it, which that's for metal. This one is for wood. Moment of truth. Of course it fits, and it fits so well that we don't even need to fix it on. Obviously, this is going to need painting and sanding and all sorts of stuff like that. As far as a little shelf goes, that looks good. So I've got a few bits and bobs here, and basically you're going to have a little time lapse of me putting this shelf together. So I'm going to put it on the lowest setting. I can put it in the van, and then if I want to put one above it in the future, I can do. And I want to use this piece of wood here as a lip across the front, so I'm going to be doing that. And in this, if you can see, hopefully you can, in this gap here to secure the lip onto the front, I'm going to be putting a little bit of wood like that, so I can put screws up from the bottom and in from the side here to hold this nice and tight. Actually, if I'm thinking even smarter than that, we're going to use these instead. We're going to use these little plastic clips to put this front on it. Hopefully. No, maybe not. Maybe we'll stick to idea number one. I think it'll be stronger. So I'm back in the van with my new shelf, which is absolutely solid. The reason I've done this and not used these little brackets or whatever we call them is because this is so much stronger, and with this shelf being up here, obviously it's going to have things on it that are going to be hitting this front lip all of the time, and basically I don't want it to fall down on my head at any point, those things that are on the shelf. So that is why we have made it to look like that so far. And if I can get it so that we're level with this side and level with this side, I'll go and get my spirit level in a minute and check this bottom. But yeah, that is basically what we're going for. It does look a little bit rudimentary, but that is because it's not covered and not painted yet. And I said in the future we might end up putting something across here as well, another one of these shelves. But as I said, it is just for now. It is going to come down because all of these are going to come down as well. And I'm thinking I might try and make this just one huge unit all the way across. So we've got 6 screws holding it in the bottom and 3 holding it in the front. And yeah, absolutely solid. So what I'm going to do is get it in there, mark it up, and screw on my brackets and go from there, really. There we have it. Proper shelf. Ugh. It could probably do with, I don't know, a few more screws being maybe this end and this end of the lip just to tie it in a bit more. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with how that's gone. It just means I'm able to now put things up here, store them out the way. Shall we have a quick look to see if this massive battery is going to fit up there? If you guys wondered what it was, it powers my fridge. Is it going to fit in this gap or not? No, it's not going to fit in the gap, but that's a very heavy battery, and the fact that the shelf is holding it is great. So heavy, in fact. And that is all we have time for today, unfortunately. I'm glad I've got that job done. I'm a little bit gutted that the ply was too thin for the big shelf, but it's actually given me some thoughts that I might make one whole new massive top shelf rather than using those two original ones that are already there. Yeah, a little bit of food for thought. I actually have a lot more materials at home, the 12mm ply, which I really need to bring up next time. And the next time I go back down south, I'm going to take the van so that I'm able to bring another bike back up and also all of those materials. So yeah, it's gone well. I'm pleased with what we've done, and I'm actually in a bit of a rush because tomorrow we're filming the full garden tour. So I need to get this video out and uploaded and exported and all that sort of stuff for your guys' faces tomorrow night, because obviously tomorrow I'll be busy. So if you've not already, head over to the Gardening Grange, subscribe to that channel. We're filming the tour tomorrow, as I said, and we've actually got a course for the bees on Tuesday, so we're filming for that as well. There's going to be loads of awesome content on there, and I cannot wait to show you it all. And obviously Georgie's there as well, which makes it way easier to watch than just my face. So hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please hit that thumbs up button. It does really help. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because again, it does really, really help. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to go film a new shelf.